So first of all, good afternoon, everyone. So thank you for your time to join us today. So we are excited to welcome you all for this exclusive webinar session about our tool. So I'm Jothi, Safety Manager in Autofusa. So I'll be your host for today on introduction and agenda part. So today's webinar session is about AutoPro tool, which is designed to simplify various safety standards like functional safety and auto user and cybersecurity standards. And we hope this session gives you an insight about how AutoPro tool support you and your organization to achieve the safety compliance. Maybe we can go to the agenda sessions. Yeah, here's the agenda. So introduction to functional safety and A-Spice. So we'll begin with the brief foundation on A-Spice and functional safety and why it matters in today's development life cycle, particularly in automotive. And then the challenges in functional safety process compliance. Here we can see, so what are all the real-time challenges and difficulties every team and every organization is facing while they are implementing the functional safety process and integration of process and work products. Here you can see how AutoPro tool is connecting the dots between the safety work products and other actual development work products, and then the complexity of standards representing diagrammatically. So this is where the things get visualized and how AutoFusa simplifying the structure of each standard using diagrams and how it is helping you to understand the standards easily. Then the AutoPro tool summary, this tool demo, it will be given by one of my team member and summary of value. Before we wrap up, we'll conclude with a quick summary of tools, unique value and how it fit into the different organization workflows. Then the Q&A session. So we'll open the floor for your queries. So you can post your queries regarding the webinar. Now I'll hand it over to Sumit, who will walk through on the webinar. Over to you, Sumit.
Thank you, Jyoti. So, welcome everyone again from my side. So, we'll start with a little bit introduction about functional safety and ASPICE. So, when we talk about functional safety, it's a very broad topic, and the safety is in itself is very important. It talks about how to make our systems safe, where they are not responsible for harming a human life, which is a very important concern. And In the recent days, we have seen a lot of recalls which happens in the automotive sector, and all of that which is potentially hazardous for humans and is also very uh, difficult for companies to navigate through, because the companies have to go through recalls, and there are bigger challenges where from financial point of view, from logistics point of view as well. So all that is something which we want to avoid as part of this. And ISO 26262 is one of the frameworks which is most widely adopted in automotive industry for functional safety. So ISO 26262 is the standard that talks about functional safety, how to achieve functional safety within the automotive sector. Now, ASPICE is one of the quality standards that is associated with automotive industry. It is focusing more on the quality part, where it will talk about how to make the part right, right? So this is where we will be talking about. So for example, if I want to develop a system in the car, let's take an example of airbags. How do we develop? So how do we make it? How do we develop it? Whether it was properly developed, whether there were all the right uh, requirements were defined, whether they were implemented properly, everything we need to take care. And that's what SPICE is about, right? Whether we followed the process, whether we achieved a build a quality product. But then functional safety goes one step further. After we have achieved quality, we go one step further and say whether this product is actually built safe, whether we have built a safe product, whether it will actually cause harm to someone or not. So for functional safety, it basically goes through entire life cycle of the product development. Starts with the concept where you are defining how the interaction of that particular system will be there with the environment, with the user, with the other systems, and during the development, how those interactions are realized, implemented, and during the production, how this entire system is produced and is shipped out from the door, and then how it is used up to the point where it is decommissioned out of the uh, life, right? So this is something which we are going to talk about. So ISO 26262 covers the entire landscape. It's a very huge landscape which we are going to have to deal with. And we have to show our compliance towards ISO 26262 and for the development processes for the ASPICE as well. So this basically is something which we wanted to talk about today. Now, just a quick poll. How many of you are familiar with ISO 26262 or ASPICE, just for us to know? So you can say not familiar, somewhat familiar, or experienced in the poll. So I think at this point of time, Ajmal, we can present the poll, right? Okay. Now, since we are not set up for that one right now, I will move forward at this point. So yeah, looks like some of us are experienced with that, and some of us may not be so much. Let's talk about what are the challenges what we are facing. So when we are talking about challenges, what kind of challenges do we face in functional safety? So the functional safety, when we are developing a product, it's not being developed just for uh, to be safe. Like like to quote when I say a car is safe, it may be standing in a garage, but it is and it is safe, but it is of no use. So the first and foremost, the product has to be functional, right? So we have some functional requirements which we have to meet. We have some quality and performance requirements. We all want a car that actually uh, create some which moves fast, which has style in it, and which doesn't break down very easy. It has quality exterior, interiors, and the driving experiences. And then, of course, we also want it to be safety compliant. So all of these things are pulling the development in different directions. So there are requirements, functional requirements which you have to fulfill. There are quality performance requirements which you have to fulfill. And you also have to make sure that everything together, when they come together, they are safe. Right. So this is basically the landscape that we are working. Now, when we are looking at this particular aspect, we have multi-domain requirements. The system nowadays are very, very complex. If you want to design an ADAS system, they might have interaction with the user through HMI. They may have to interact with the environment by reading the through different sensors like radar, cameras, lidars, or um, ultrasonic sensors. So, and they have to also make decisions for braking, steering, or indications to the users, or some kind of warnings that needs to be given. And they also need to uh, uh, make sure that they are actuating the uh, the final output, right? So in terms of the steering, braking, or the warnings, or any of the outputs. So there are multi-domain challenges that we have to address. Then there are problems in terms of how do we make sure that there is traceability in terms of each and every requirement. Since we are dealing with a lot of requirements, how those requirements are handled, how those requirements are fulfilled, how those requirements are developed, and how those requirements are verified and validated. So all of these aspects, we need to make sure that everything, because if one of these requirements are missed, we will miss some kind of functionality, some kind of quality performance requirement, or some kind of safety, uh, which is going to be make the product non-appealing, right? So this is something which we have to watch out for, right? Then there are human interpretation errors. So the complex standards which we have, ISO 26262 has 12 parts, everything, all together. If you see, there are thousands of pages. So to interpret that, to make sure we understand it correctly, make sure we follow it correctly, it's going to be a very difficult process. And then on top of it, you have technical capabilities which you need to handle. Then there are execution errors in terms of communications or in terms of synchronizations between the activities. How are we going to achieve that? All this is creating a very complex work environment. And finally, safety is based on trust. So when we want to deliver trust to someone, we want to make sure that it is something which is auditable, it is compliance, its compliance can be proven. So that's where the audit and compliance will also be one very strong part of this aspect, which we have to also fulfill. So combining all of these together, there are so many challenges that we are facing, and we need to navigate all of these challenges along with alignment with the quality processes like ASPICE, ISO 9001, and also making sure that all the safety requirements are met in this particular aspect. So this is going to be a very, very delicate uh, balancing act, which is going to be really difficult in terms of how you balance it in a wide organization. So when you have multiple teams working, multiple disciplinary teams working together, how do you do that? And if you throw in multiple companies which are like partners who are doing different things, the tier one suppliers, OEMs, tier two suppliers, or service providers who are adding into the mix, it becomes really, really complex scenario, right? So all this, considering all this, what we have is we need to make sure that we have a very well-defined process. We we need a very strong process. We need something which is structured. We need something which is very, very well-defined. Now, to do that, what can we do? So what should process focus on, right? So this is something we have to understand. So now, but in automotive, we generally follow a V diagram logic. So there is a left side of the V, there is a right side of the V, and with those we do our development. So there are different stages that we have to follow, from the concept to the system level, the subsystem level, and to hardware software development. There is a whole pattern for V development, right? And then on the other side, we have on the right side of the V, we have all the verifications and validation, integration, verification, validation, which we have to do at multiple different stages. All of this needs to come together as part of this integration. Now, when we do this, there is a chance where uh, we have to make sure that all the process steps uh, are mapped correctly. There has to be flows, there have to be reviews that needs to happen on time. We need to make sure that we are taking all the inputs that are required, taken into account. And we want to also make sure that the process is aligned with all the standards like ISO 26262, and ASPICE and cybersecurity and and so on, other standards which we have to also make sure. So this is where AutoPro comes in, where AutoPro ties all of these development activities and whatever is required from all these different standards together. It basically brings traceability between work products and their statuses. It basically brings the what is required from the input, what is required in the output. So brings the traceability, and it also shows a clear map of workflows in a visual format, in a very understandable visual format. So let's see what this is. Okay. So in the compliance, when we want to do, our focus usually is there was always there on style and performance and safe with last and least comes safe with secure function. As engineers, we may want to build that, but that's very unlikely that happens. But the effort, to be frank, the effort that goes in making systems safe and secure is really, really bigger. And if we try to focus our effort first on the style or performance part, it's going to be, we are trying to build an inverted pyramid in that case. So here, what we want to do is we want to make sure that the base of the pyramid is solid. It is compliant to the standards, which is ISO 26262, ASPICE cybersecurity, which basically makes our base of the development very, very solid foundation for this. And then on top of it, you can improve your performance, you can improve your style, you can improve the things which your customer wants. So this is something which you can bring. Now, to look at how this complexity can be reduced, how this complexity can be actually uh, taken advantage. So look at one of the flows which we have from AutoPro. So what it basically does is there is a clear step-by-step process that is defined, right? So one step, two steps, third step, there is clear step-by-step processes that define. Sometimes when you're reading these standards, they can be overwhelmingly complex. So you do not want those kind of text to, you cannot remember everything, you cannot keep everything in your head. And to make a process out of this starting from the scratch, it's going to take years together. We have done that so that you don't have to do it again and again. So this is the tool which can help us do that. So there is a clear representation of step-by-step process. It establishes the inputs and outputs. So what inputs do you need to produce what outputs? What are the steps? Who are going to do this? So clear responsibility of which teams are going to do this. And clear status for each work product is indicated. So if you are taking a work product, what the color representation in that will clearly show this, what kind of status that particular work product is in, right? So this whole thing will make it so much easier for us to actually follow the standard. Now, let's take a break from this theory class and let's go to our tool demo where our CEO, Mr. Sivakumar J, will demonstrate AutoPro tool and talk about in detail the functionalities of AutoPro tool, which you can actually leverage in your workflow. So I welcome Mr. Sivakumar to join and give us a demo for AutoPro tool.
Yeah, thank you, Sumit. Hello all. So I'm Sivakumar J. I'm going to walk through the tool, the features, what are being consist in this. So just a minute, I will be sharing my screen. Hope you can able to see my screen.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So currently I have logged in to AutoPro tool through AutoFusa login. So where you can see AutoFusa logo here. However, the moment the tool given to any specific customer, so the specific customer logo and their name will appear here. Okay, so which represents this process is very much customized and concerned with the specific organization, right? So this is how it works. So I will get into this. There are many flow which is available here. So first let me take the ISO 26262 process flow to demonstrate. So what we have done is the complete ISO 26262 standard, we put it in a V diagrammatic format to make in a simple way of approach, right? So you can see here ISO 26262 part 2, which is talks about the functional safety management. And then there is part 8, supporting process. Then part 3, which is concept phase, and part 4, the system development. Similarly, part 5 and 6, which is basically a hardware and software. And there is another class which is talks about production operation service decommissioning, that is part 7, right? So now to demonstrate here, I would like to get into the concept phase, where you can see here the safety lifecycle activity is start from item definition. So in order to perform the item definition, we have to have a certain input documentation. And then we can also see that the various stakeholders here who's supposed to do what, right? And then the item definition process flow, which is defined here, supposed to be performed by the FUSA team. And then what type of review required as per ISO 26262. So that is being given here. So basically in ISO 26262, it talks about verification review, confirmation review, and complaints review. So according to that, this is being given. And once the documentation is baselined, then the output, the item definition and its review report will be generated. So now coming back to the input side, so you can see a different color notation as Sumit explained here. So the color basically talks about the maturity of the work product. For example, any document, if you consider, which is not directly mature, okay, it basically started a draft version of the document, and then it may be in progress or it may be under review conditions. And once if it is matured, then it become a baseline one, which is a green color. So in that way, the documents are and its maturities are being displayed like this. For example, if you look at here, there is no color associated with this block, means there is no document linked to this particular document. So for example, the moment you click here, there is a pop-up which asks you to fill the path where the file is stored. In general, if you look at any organization, they keep all their repository in their configuration management tool, such as SVN or MKS Integrity or Polarian, or it may be SharePoint, somewhere like this. From there, you just copy the link and paste it here. We are not asking you to upload the document here. If you carefully look at here, if I ask you to upload the document, there would be a possible data duplication. Similarly, there would be a possible security related issue when you upload the document. So to avoid that, we are just asking you to link the path and then provide the file name, author name, and its version. Also, you can select the status according to the document maturity. Then you can also give the remarks. Why the remarks is significant here is when you develop maybe a document or analysis report or any test report or whatever may be, probably there are some deviation or there are the conclusion statement which may be required. So for that reason, this been given. So you can fill that and then you can assign the path. The moment you assign the path, this will become like this with the color, with the status reports, right? For example, I'm just clicking here. You can see it talks about the file name, which is given here, and then is a file version and the author name, and also there are some remarks. In case if you have a latest version of this file, you can just click modify file, where you can link the latest file what you have. If not, you can just open the file from here itself. You no need to search the document here and there and look for that. It's not required, right? So that is the advantage here. You can access any file within the same single window, okay? And access that, and then you can start following the other. And another thing is, in case if you are a project manager or safety manager or maybe very management level person, just to click any of the document which is red or yellow or whatever, I mean this status, you can look at the person who is responsible, and then you can catch hold of him and say, why this is still red. You can easily track him and you can ask him to complete and make it green, right? So in that way, as a higher management, we can able to quickly look at the status and ask the concerned person to complete the activity. Okay, let's assume that all the inputs are now green. So it means all the inputs are ready and available to perform the item definition. So what is next? So in order to develop the item definition, the FUSA team required a template checklist guideline, which we can link it here itself, so that the engineer who can download this and then start work on the item definition. In order to work on this item definition, just to click here and then follow the process steps what is being given as per ISO 26262, right? And then wherever possible, we also have given additional notes for better understanding of those requirements. So once you fulfill all this flow, then this item definition will undergo for the review or verification activity. Once this is completed, then it will be delivered, right? For item definition flow, item definition is the output document. For example, if you look at here, the item definition 0.1 Raj Vijay, and there is a command that is being given here, right? However, the same output document, probably it may be used for as an input in many places, right? So you can see here, the same item definition being linked over here. It is all being integrated internally, okay? You no need to upload every time, okay? And so you can access and open the file from here itself. In addition, for example, if you go through the standard, for example, for part 5 or part 6 or part 4, which also redirect you to go through part 8, part 2, something like that. So here what we did is, in an integrated model, though we are talking about the HARA process, so you can see here the requirement phase, what exactly the methods which need to be followed in accordance with ISO 26262, that is all being given here itself. So no need to jump from the parts, okay? So that is another aspect I would like to highlight. So here the item definition, not only in HARA, even in many places it is been called as an input. So you can access from anywhere, okay? Now, after linking all these documents, what you're supposed to do is, you go here and there is a front page where you can just click safety case. Then the safety case is generating now. Yes, it is generated now. I'm just to open it. Yes, it is getting open. Just to give me a moment. Yes, it is open. This is the given template from our site, and it is being populated. the matter of time, I'm just directly going to the generated output. You can see here. So this is the generated output. You can see the file name, author name, and version number, and the file path, and the remarks, and also with the color, you can also see the status. So you by clicking this link, you can directly access the file from here itself, right? So in that way, I mean, the consolidated report would be generated automatically from the tool, which can be submitted to your auditor in case of any audit, right? Similarly, this the integrated model, which also helps you to share across the distributed development. For example, as we know that I mean, the ECUs are developed in a distributed way of development. There is a supplier level 1, level 2, and OEM, right? So there are, I mean, there may be a probability of audit and assessment. So you can run this tool in a centralized in your server, and then you can also give the access to the various the stakeholders, and who can also access and I mean, provide their work products and link here, so that you can have a holistic view and the complete dashboard along with you, right? So another interesting point is, so Autofus are also committing for the customization, right? Because we clearly understand that every organization is unique and their process is unique and the terminology is unique. So having said that, so we also have a multiple, I mean, the customer specific flow also. For example, we also developed, there is a flow which is very much concerned about the semiconductor industry, right? So this is, you can see the entirely a different flow which is talking about the semiconductor. And in similar, we also have a cybersecurity process as per ISO 21434. Yes, and similarly, one more. This is ASPICE and FUSA integrated model. So now you can see here, this is a similar V, but there is a good amount of differences or the changes with respect to different aspects of requirement being captured accordingly. Okay, so you can see here the functional safety requirement and technical safety requirement, both are talking about the sys.2 and 3. For example, if I get in, then you can see, right, I mean, we indicated through colors, like the blue color, which talks about the SPICE point of view, and the yellow color, which talks about functional safety aspects of inputs and requirements, and the the light red color, which talks about or the pink color, which talks about the requirement which is coming from both SPICE and functional safety. So when you go inside, you can also see the way how they are interacting each other. I mean, in an integrated model, right? So this is how I mean the tool works, and there are many other features which we are currently working on, and yeah, this will be keep updated and given to our customer. So the idea here is the standard is one. However, there are n number of company who they are developing their own process. It is all multiple effort in every company, and instead Autofus are making a holistic and uniform process model, and which is given to many automotive companies to get the advantages of this, right? So thank you very much. I would like to again hand over to Sumit, and Sumit will be taking forward. Yes.
Thank you very much, Shiva, for that wonderful demo. I think it gives us a very clear picture in terms of the benefits AutoPro tool brings for the development and ease of compliance towards this. So to summarize, so we have an automated safety case generation, which you saw a live demo for. User-friendly development, test for engineers, effective project monitoring, integrated process and document environment where all the documents are available right there and you can actually access. So it does not actually impact your storage the way you are doing comfortable. You don't have to change that process altogether, which is usually a concern for a lot of engineers. Clear role definitions, responsibilities and roles and definitions, which we have seen how clearly the swim lanes are identified there. We have end-to-end traceability in terms of the inputs, outputs, how they are related, what kind of impact they will create, which can help us during the impact analysis. Customizable customer needs, which we can do in terms of whatever your workflows are, and which all together will help us to reduce the audit and assessment. It can basically help you to get uh, the audit very, very painless, if I may say so. And it also supports safety culture where new engineers who may not have experience with safety, they can actually look through this kind of tool and learn through it, work through it, and use this for their development. So this is where we wanted to bring the value to the industry, where the AutoPro tool basically helps to bring all the pain points and address all the pain points from the industry. And it allows you to actually go to your next audit with 100% confidence that you have everything ready and you can actually demonstrate the compliance to the auditor. So this is going to be something which which will make your life really easy in terms of the next development. So basically, this is what we had so far. Thank you for joining us. And now we are hoping to open our floor for questioning. So if you have questions, write them down in your chat and our moderator will bring those questions back. Yes. So while we are waiting for others to respond, maybe I can ask one question from my side to Sivakumar J. So when we are talking about this AutoPro tool, so how soon this can be deployed, and what will be the strategy for it to be deployed when you have an ongoing project versus when you are starting? So this is something which maybe you can shed some light on.
Okay, sure.
Yes.
So basically, AutoPro tool, which is available in two different licensing model. One is the subscription model. The other one is the perceptual model, where the AMC is applicable. So once the, the license being purchased, then our the installation team coordinate with the customer team and install in their server. Okay. So, and then the appropriate the process flow will be assigned. There are some customization is possible according to customer input, and then that particular flow which will be deployed to them. Okay. For example, if I say a single license, meaning is one license and that is given to the power user, because we have the licensing strategy that AutoFuso play a super admin role, wherein the license would be given to the power user who is responsible at customer side, and then the power user can allocate those licenses to their sub users. Yeah,
that's great. That's great. Okay, so are there any questions we see? Okay, I think that's all. the questions we had. So thank you, everyone. And you can connect us through LinkedIn or our website, or you can write an email to us. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And we'll hope to see you again soon. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much.